Welcome back to another episode of Everyday Integrity. I'm your host, Dawn Vitale.
And I'm Margie Bowling. Let's get started.
Okay, everyone. So we just read the Let Them Theory, a book by Mel Robbins. And today we're talking about adult relationships, proximity, timing, and energy. And what Mel talks about with those three pillars of adult relationships and friendships is that, and she says this really poignantly in the book, Margie, is that when we're growing up and we go to the same schools and we participate in the same activities and we live in the same neighborhoods, that it's really easy to keep the friends that we have for long periods of time. And then
Yeah.
as we grow up and we move away and we go to work and we have families, that those relationships change. And it's not that we're getting old or that
hmm
the that we've changed or that we're doing something bad in our lives. The reality is that our lives have changed significantly and we're no
Yeah.
longer like going to the same schools or going to the same,
Yeah. Or we have different
neighborhoods.
values. They've shifted. And I mean, there's core values. And then I think that my values, there's maybe a secondary that I'm like, well, you know what? This is what I'm up to this year. And so that doesn't align. So she talks about proximity, timing, and energy. Friendships ebb and flow and they change. And I've seen that significantly because we're talking about letting go of control. So you have a choice, I think, sometimes to like those relationships that are so comfortable until they're not comfortable and trying to fix them and control them and change them when it's just not the right proximity, the right timing, and the right energy. And I have a friend that always used to say to me, she taught me this divine right time. So I think of friendships, how they ebb and flow like that. And here's the fun part about this. So I don't know, 15 years ago or so, I had a friendship. It was really close, like you and I are, like sisters, really, really are. This girl changed my life. I wouldn't be sitting here in this stuff. She was very woo-woo yogi, and I remember used to going like, yoga, what is that about? What do you mean? Like move my body and pay attention to my breath? That's ridiculous because I was bodybuilding,
Yeah.
and doing kickboxing. And then one day I was like, okay, I'm gonna go take your yoga class. And it was like I had to give it 3 times. I always give something 3 times. And I was like, what is this? So I started like pulling myself into her world and she taught me so much. And I would not be here, would not be here. But then something happened.
Yeah.
Something happened to to cause some turbulence and what is it, like conflict,
Yeah.
and it broke my heart. We had some clear conversations, and I recognized that there was the proximity, the timing, and the energy was no longer serving us well. And I remember going to her and learning this because it broke my heart
Mm.
to not see this be in our lives anymore. But I just said to her, this isn't working.
Yeah.
I love you. I will always love you. I thank you. And and even though I was really mad at her, she did some things that were not great. I let her. I let her and I let me and I released her and I said, I want you to know I always love you and maybe in the right time and place we'll come full circle, but we're holding each other back. I didn't say you're holding me back from my growth, but I said it's time to separate. And so I've learned to do that multiple times. And have I seen her? Yes. It's I've seen her multiple times when it's convenient. I don't go force it and chase her down. She's in her own world and it's not healthy for me, but when if I do come across her paths, it's been just maybe a lunch for an hour or two. I love you. But here's the beauty, the fun thing about what I learned from that of letting go these relationships until it's divine right time. Like saying to this friend, I we need to get out of each other's lives so that we can grow. And that's one reason why. But it's so much fun when you let them go with love to come full circle and be like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in 10 years. And even if there was anger or something between you, maybe they didn't know it or you knew it, that it's all gone. And
Yeah.
it's just like, I had a friend walk by this summer. Haven't seen her in years, and it's ridiculous why. Haven't seen her in years. Used to be the best friends. She's walking by on a Sunday. I'm out watering my flowers this summer. Walks by, and she turns around and says to me, and I'm like going, who are you? Hadn't seen her in years and years and years. And I just ran to her, hugged her, and I said, I have needed you. I have needed you so much. So that's been fun.
Yeah.
That's been the fun part of saying, haven't talked in a while, and there's just a big clearing or a healing. And I didn't need healing with her, but it was, she had to go live her life. And I'm like, what have you been up to? She goes, well, now that we're empty nesters, I went back to college and I'm teaching. She was an artist and a graphic artist. She got her teaching degree.
That's
She's
awesome.
teaching at the local high school, and look at me, you know. So that's my story of the gift, and the cookies, and the cost of it is it can be fun, it can be growth.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack there. I think I hear you on all those fronts. I also think like sometimes those relationships end abruptly, and then there's other times where those relationships, like for me, Margie, there's been times where I've tried to keep the relationship longer than it needed to be.
Yeah.
And like I know now looking back that I should have gave those relationships up a lot sooner. And
Mhm.
I'm with you. If I see somebody and there's been some time and space that I, I I've seen the lesson in those experiences and that I've moved on. And so when I energetically see them, I can greet them with love and kindness. And
And gratitude that you left them alone, even. Sometimes they're hot messes, and you're like, great validation. I'm glad I stepped out of
yeah,
that.
exactly. Exactly. I mean, I can think of a few people. But like but everybody's on their own course, right? And if we
Mm,
really believe, if like I believe that like God has a destiny for all of us and everyone's course is very different from one another, but we're all sort of intersecting with each other, right? And there's a
yeah.
season and a reason for all the meanings for
Yeah.
why we meet up with different people on our journey. Like just being okay with it. There are some people out there that have a really hard time of like letting them. This is going to be a practice for them.
Hmm.
And like just try it one person at a time, one situation at a time. Like, don't overwhelm yourself. If there's a relationship that you've been meaning to detach from, like, you know, maybe just look at that relationship and start, making some discernment about like, is this an adult friendship that I need to start to disconnect myself from?
Or
And
just put some distance in it, because sometimes you can be in a friendship, a relationship where you are just too up in each other's business too much.
yeah, that's true.
Like, I don't need to go do this with you every single day. Like, it
There's
can
too
be a
much
bit much.
codependency. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
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 So, all right. I think I've gotten something out of hearing what you had to say, Margie,
Thank you,
and
Dawn.
I hope you all did too. Have a namaste.
Bye.